Hey, Grandma, explain your life to me.
Well, it's been a good life, Joey. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, June 23rd, 1949. And my dad's name was James. My mother's name was Jacqueline. I have four brothers and one sister. And we had a lot of fun as kids because there was a lot of freedom back then. And we used to just play games for most of the day. And um, my dad had a business, so money was not an issue. We weren't wealthy, we weren't poor, we were just middle class, right in the middle. And I was a pretty good kid. I never really got into any trouble. I had some responsibility being the oldest daughter. My mother would find more chores for me to do than my brothers. But that was okay because it teaches you responsibility. Um, and I liked school. I always liked to go to school. I went to a Catholic school for 12 years, the same school. We all did. And it was a very small school, so everyone knew everyone, and kids in the neighborhood all went to that school or they went to the public school. Um, my first job was babysitting. I was 11 years old and started babysitting for different younger children in the neighborhood, and back then they paid babysitters 50 cents an hour. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was fun to do, and you did make some money. There, we didn't go to shopping malls back then either. We went to downtown Detroit. We would shop. We would go on the bus. My best friend back then, her name was Kathy, and we would get on the bus and we would go to downtown Detroit, and all the big department stores were there, and we would shop, and then we'd go and have lunch, and then we would get on the bus and come back home. Let's see. And I liked high school. High school was a lot of fun, and I got married when I was 19 years old, a year after I graduated from high school. And I had three children, or I have three children, two boys and a girl, and I have 9 grandchildren. And let's see, what else is kind of interesting? Let's see. My first serious job that I had when I got out of high school, I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is the health insurance company. And let's see. So I worked for them, and it was a good job. Back then, you didn't really have to go to college. If you got into a job and you liked it, you could, go really all the way to the top of the job by being responsible and doing a good job at work. So I like to work, but I got married and had children, and then I didn't work for a while. And then I worked in a pharmacy. And after the pharmacy, I worked in a doctor's office. And after the doctor's office, then I worked in a hospital doing insurance billing. And it was fun, and it was fun raising my kids. And there's nothing like your grandkids when
Going back to your childhood, where did you grow up most of your life?
I grew up. I lived on the same street in the same house until I was 19 years old and got married. And I lived on the east side of Detroit.
Okay. What is your favorite sport, since you said you love sports?
My favorite sport, I think, is baseball. I love baseball. We used to play baseball all the time.
Do you prefer college or MLB?
MLB.
Okay. What is your favorite state?
My favorite state? I like Georgia. Two of my grandchildren were born in Georgia. My son lived there for a while. It was a job transfer, and so he was in Georgia for a while, and I just loved it there. I liked the weather, and I liked the people, and it just had a really calm, sweet atmosphere about it.
Okay. Who were your favorite relatives?
Gosh, my favorite relatives. Well, let's see. My grandparents, and my aunts and my uncles, and I don't know, my grandmother, my father's mother, was one of my favorite.
How come?
Well, she would always hug me, and we'd come in the house, and she was so happy to see all of us. And she was just a happy, cheerful person. So, and we just always knew that she really loved us.
Was she a good cook?
She was an excellent cook. Yes, she was.
Do you remember her favorite meal?
Her favorite meal, she would make grape leaves. She was a Lebanese grandma, and she would make grape leaves, and she would make different Middle Eastern dishes, and she always insisted that you eat.